Compass FM. Simon Templeton from Age Concern is with me in studio. Simon often pops into Compass FM. Always interesting stuff. He is the CEO for the Canterbury area of Age Concern. A very good morning, Simon.
Good morning, good morning.
And a serious subject, this one, alcohol and older people. Is it becoming a bit of an issue?
Yeah, it is a big issue, and it is a topic that needs to be talked about. It's a meaty one for Monday, I guess. We know that as we've got a retiring population and more older people, and it's that baby boomer group coming through that were big drinkers in the past, and they're carrying that through into the over 65 group when they get there.
Okay, so this is people in their own homes, obviously, or in retirement villages as well?
All of that, actually, yeah. This wherever people are living, and it hasn't really got the attention of media and others, partly because generally your over 65s aren't out yahooing and vandalising things and creating mayhem with their drinking, so those sort of antisocial aspects aren't there, and so it's not as visible, and in fact it's quite invisible.
So what is the concern? What form does this drinking take? Like, it's obviously to excess, is it?
Yeah, well, I guess as we age, our bodies can actually tolerate less alcohol. And people might not know that.
Hi,
also,
I'm
things like our measuring sizes, so our
Kids
glasses
on
have got
Campus
bigger,
FM.
and we're actually drinking more, perhaps unknowingly. The aging process, doesn't work that well with alcohol. And also, what we find is, whilst it might not be hazardous to the population, it is hazardous to the individual person, particularly around medication. So a lot of medications, which again we know that older people take more meds than younger. And medications quite often interfere with, or vice versa, alcohol interferes with the medications.
Could be dangerous too, I guess, with people, having falls, that sort of thing.
Definitely, falls is a big issue. And that's one of the things that we talk to health professionals about, is when they're talking to older people who perhaps have had a fall, so they've come into the GP, one of the things that they often don't ask is, were you drinking? And it seems to be a question that as health professionals we don't either feel comfortable asking maybe the 80, 90-year-old person that's in front of us, but it is a question we do need to ask.
Indeed. I can imagine a lot of people would be drinking to excess because perhaps they're lonely, perhaps they've lost, their partner in life, perhaps they've lost most of their friends, and they think, hey, what the hell? I'm just going to get smashed every night.
Indeed, loneliness, people who do drink tell us that is a big factor. And the fact that, of course, they don't have to get up for work, so, if you do have a hangover the next day, it's possibly not as bad as when you had to front up to a job. So, but your loneliness is a key factor, and again, that's why Age Concern Canterbury focus so much of our organisation and our staff around social connection and making sure that we're providing that social connection outlet for older people.
Yep. We all know that alcohol can be very damaging at any stage of life, but with older people and the brain, more susceptible perhaps,
Definitely more susceptible.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Now, you are so concerned about this that, in fact, there's a symposium that's being organised for this Friday. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, it is such a big issue, and there's some really good literature now coming out of New Zealand. So we've got Professor Andy Towers coming down from the Massey University to the symposium as the keynote speaker, and he's going to be talking to health professionals involved with the over 65 population around some of that data, some of those statistics, and what that's telling us, and it's not a great picture. The other presenter, or main presenter, is Matthew Croucher, who's Canterbury's own sort of guru in older person's health. He's a psychiatrist of old age at Canterbury District Health Board. They're both amazing presenters and speakers, and so we're hoping that as many people come along who are working in the over 65 space to learn about the issues alcohol has on older people and perhaps how to broach that subject.
Yep. Who's invited to that, by the way?
So it's for people working in the older person space. So that might be primary care, GPs, practice nurses, it might be community nurses, anyone who's working in the space of supporting the over 65 population. I know you have some very good falls prevention people out here in North Canterbury. It would be ideal for them to come along too.
All right. When and where, Simon?
So it's this Friday, this week, there's still some tickets available. We are having it at the McFadden Centre, so it's 64 McFadden's Road in St Albans. Thank you. It's very close to Tapanui, where our offices, just in the back there at St Albans, and they can get tickets through Eventbrite.
Eventbrite, tickets to that, and it's on this Friday. What time does it start?
So it kicks off at 9:30.
9:30, and the emphasis is, well, the whole symposium, in fact, is about older people and alcohol. Just quickly, I've heard anecdotally that some recreational drugs are also more prevalent now with older people.
Yeah, they are. Some interesting literature again come out of some jurisdictions who have legalised cannabis, so particularly some of the newer ones like California. And what they've found is the biggest uptake in new people picking up cannabis when it's legalised is the over 65. So it's that group that perhaps used them back in the 60s and 70s recreationally. They then got jobs and had children and became responsible adults, and so stayed away from that. And now that it's legal, they've gone back to it, and they're using it recreationally and also sort of medicinally for pain
relief,
for sleeping,
yes,
and things like that. So we didn't get that legalised in New Zealand at the referendum last year. So it's not legal here, but that was one of the things that we were talking to people in decision making about. If it did become legal, that we'd need to see more support put into the older person sector for support around addictions.
Yep. Simon Templeton, CEO for Age Concern here in Canterbury, and that symposium is this Friday. If people miss the details, can they go to somewhere on the net?
Come to our website, ageconcerncan.org.nz.
Compass.